everyone, it's Lisa and I'm back with another video in my Hashimoto series. I have decided that I'm going to, at least for the time being, do a monthly update on what is happening with my Hashimoto's and my treatment for that. And this is going to be an update following January. So I think the most significant thing that has occurred, which I guess most people would think would be pretty significant, would be that my father has, not to go into too much detail, but back in August of 2015, my father was diagnosed with a brain tumor on his optic nerve, and he had surgery for it, and he did really well and seemed to be quite successful. In December, though, he started having some vision problems again, and they diagnosed him with not a tumor per se, but something else like a cyst they had to go back in and take care of. And he had that surgery on January 7th. He's been in the hospital ever since. And I'm pretty good at dealing with stress. I have a tendency to sort of cocoon up and sort of isolate myself a little bit in times of stress and try to narrow my life down to just the bare necessities from both the things I do and the thoughts that I have and the things that I make room for and the emotions I make room for. It's not that I don't think about it and I don't have feelings about it. It's just that I have a tendency, in order to sort of protect myself, to, what's a good word? I guess I just sort of pull back from a lot of things, and it just keeps me from being able to, or I don't know, I guess from just trying to do too much and wearing myself out. Because one of the things I found is that if I let myself get too emotionally overloaded or too physically event overloaded, then I will have a breakdown and I'm useless to everybody, including myself. So I dealt with it for a couple of weeks in January. I tried to, do some of my coping mechanisms, which are, like I said, to just kind of scale back on the non-necessities of life. And it worked okay. There were some other things going on behind the scenes here at the house with my husband and his ankle and my daughter and some of the stresses at school. So what happened ultimately, probably about the third week of January, I started having what I recognize in myself as being symptoms of overtaxed adrenals. And one of the primary symptoms I get is that I have this weird afternoon crash, like almost immediately after I eat lunch, and it does not matter what I eat. I can eat a plate full of protein, a plate full of vegetables, it doesn't matter. I get this weird sort of like low blood sugar feeling. I get shaky and I get a headache and I get super sleepy. And sometimes the only way I can do anything about it is to literally go lay down for 10 or 15 minutes and sort of doze off, and then it passes. I also get, if you've ever done any kind of research on adrenals, you'll find that a lot of people describe what's called internal shaking or trembling. I saw one description which was kind of apt, talking about how it feels like you're standing on a railroad or a subway platform as the train goes by, and it sort of, it jiggles a little bit. It's just kind of a weird, all over weak, shaky feeling, and I recognized it, and I called my doctor, and I didn't call, I shouldn't say that. They have an online portal, and you can log into your account and send a message to the nurse. So I did that, and he advised me to raise my cortisol by 2.5 milligrams. So that now puts me at 10 milligrams of cortisol a day, and I don't disagree with that. Which is why I went ahead and accepted it as a trial kind of thing. And part of it is, I know for me that when I have low adrenal function and my cortisol basically drops to zero, that's how I feel. Eventually what will happen if I let that go on long enough is that I sort of get a weird jolt, like my body tries to put out some adrenaline to try to counteract the low cortisol. It's really kind of a weird feeling. But yeah, so I accepted that. I'm actually supposed to, I can't remember if it's this week or next week, I have a reminder on my calendar to follow back up with the nurse and let her know how I'm doing. It seems to be doing okay. I'm still having some sort of, you know, mild kind of things sometimes in the afternoon where I'm, but probably to be expected. I am still doing 100 milligrams of progesterone every evening on days 15 through 28, and then 50 milligrams of progesterone in the morning on days 15 through 28. Aunt Flo came 2 days early this last cycle. That seems to be what it's settling into since I went back on progesterone in May of 2015, and I may just have to accept that I have like maybe a shorter cycle. It's a 26 day rather than the 28 or 29. But still holding strong. I can't really find a reason to complain about anything, at least maybe until the adrenals get settled down a little bit more. I might go back and talk to him a little bit more, my doctor a little bit more about just my cycle length. So that's an update for me. I'm still taking all the rest of my supplements and all the rest of my prescription medications. I'm trying to eat really well. I have... I restarted Weight Watchers officially December 12th, and since then I have lost probably about 8, maybe 9 pounds total. I've had some ups and downs with my cycles, and then my top weight for my height is 132. So I'm well below that, and I'm really close to the weight I would like to be, my sort of dream weight, which is 115. So at 120, 122, I'm happy at this weight, but it's really hard to lose additional weight. And I recognize that, and I'm okay with that. I just feel a whole lot better since I came down off the high of 132 and back down into the somewhere between 120 and 125, which is where I'm much happier. So that's another thing I wanted to add to this. So that's all I have for this time around with Hashimoto's. I appreciate you watching. If you like what you see, please subscribe, and you will be notified of other videos that I post. Thank you and have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.